very late. You should stop saying we're going to be here at 3 o'clock if we're not going to be here at 3 o'clock.
Let's shoot for 3:15.
3:15, but we're even later than that today, so sorry. But we have a question to answer today. I am sorry for anyone who has questions ahead, but we felt that this question was urgent enough to merit immediate answering. So if you're watching, sit back, fasten your seatbelts. It's a little intense, so we're going to read the question with a little bit of modification because there was some vulgarity. But it's a good question, and we wanted to address it. So,
and we really appreciate you reaching out to us.
Yeah, I'm actually very encouraged to see that you did, because it sounds like this is something that's really important and it's really bothering you. And so my heart goes out to you right now in the situation that you're in, dear anonymous question asker.
All right, here's the question. What do I do if I've gone and effed my best friend's F buddy and then didn't tell her immediately, and someone else told her first? So now she's upset with me because she likes me and I wasn't able to be honest with her right away. I feel like I'm drowning in guilt and shame, and I don't know what to do. Please help. Why wasn't I able to be honest with her? Was it because I somehow lost my trust for her? Did I ever even trust her as a friend in the first place? Why is it so hard for me to trust people who are closest to me?
Wow. All right. So the question is focusing mostly on this friendship that suffered as a result of some of the things that took place. So that's kind of what we're just going to address. Why did she feel like she wasn't able to be honest with her friend? Should she have done something sooner? And how should she respond now that this whole thing has exploded and her friend is upset?
And why is it hard for me to trust the people who are closest to me in general? Why could that be helpful?
Yeah, I see this is a very loaded question in many ways. So, I mean, forgive us if we try to take this as a very general approach. I think for the person who submitted this question, again, thank you. It really sounds like there's a lot going on here. So we are here, and if you would like a little bit more support in this area, we would encourage you to reach out directly to us. I mean, you can private message us directly on Instagram. You can go online and give us a call. We can, especially if you can make it to any one of our groups. Wherever you happen to be. We have one in Ovid on Tuesdays at South Seneca School. There's one on Thursdays at the Youth Clubhouse at Epic Zone. And there's one here at the Family Hope Center on Fridays. So if you attend any of those groups, you can just pull me or Jamie, if she's here on Fridays, aside, and we can just have a conversation with you, because it sounds like we need more information in order to be able to help you think through this and talk through this. So I'm not going to sit here and give you advice as to this specific situation, because I don't know a lot of the things in this circumstance that you probably know a lot better than we do. So we'll give you some general advice as it comes to like honesty and friendships and why it might be difficult for you to trust people who are close to you. But as to answering this question, that's the most we can offer today. So do forgive us. But as it comes to let's just take this a bit at a time.
Yeah.
So
let's break it down.
Start with the first part.
The first part is, why wasn't I able to be honest with her?
I think it's hard to be honest with anyone when you know that something that you have said or done could be hurtful to them. I don't even know if it matters how close they are. I think the closer they are, the harder it is, because you care for that person. So depending on the kind of person you are, I mean, I know I hate confrontation, and I don't know that there's anything wrong with not liking that, but I understand that it's hard. And I can completely understand where you're coming from. Does that make it right to not be upfront and honest? Not necessarily, but I understand it's hard. And we can't expect ourselves to be perfect. but we can figure out what are we going to do now.
Yeah. I don't know that I would add anything to that. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Was it because I had somehow lost trust for her? I mean, we don't know the specifics of this friendship, you know, if you guys weren't on the best terms or if there were other things around this. It can definitely add to not being able to have a conversation with her about something that happened, but we can't say for sure because we don't know the specifics of your friendship and what was going on in the time period of between you.
Yeah, I mean, we can guess. Like, I'm sitting here thinking if I were in your position, a reason that I would have difficulty being honest with her is not because I don't trust her, but because I would be afraid I'd hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's because I love that friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. But again, you'd have to tell us more. Like, is there a reason that you didn't trust her and you didn't want to tell her?
Right. Are you worried that she would go and tell other
Other
people that you had this experience and that you did this with her friend or this person?
Or that you didn't trust her to respond in a way that would be healthy if you were afraid that she would lash out or that you would lose friendship with her. And in that case, like, yeah, I can understand that fear would be a factor of that.
So yeah, it can definitely have a lot to do with it. But
we don't have enough information to tell you that.
And that doesn't mean that it's still not okay to not be upfront with somebody. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the next one, did I even trust her as a friend in the first place? Well, first of all, trust is developed over time and over experiences.
And there are things that can be broken over time and through experiences.
Mm-hmm. So you never just trust someone in the first place. That's something that grows, honestly.
And like, as being a reason why you didn't tell them in the first place, like, I really think there's more there than just not trusting your friend. So that's something that you're going to have to dig into. And again, come talk to us.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd love to have a conversation.
Yeah, having a conversation would be probably more helpful than giving a general advice.
Yeah. Okay. Why is it so hard for me to trust the people who are closest to me? Okay.
All right, here's something we can work with. Because this is much more general. Mm-hmm. And I guess because of the context of this question, I'm going to have to remove the context a little bit to address this. Mm-hmm. The context of this question is getting at why she wasn't able to tell this close person something that potentially could have been hurtful, okay? But if we're just going to address this question as why do I have difficulty trusting people I'm close to, then we're talking more about vulnerability and talking more about how we start to trust people with something.
Yeah.
So vulnerability comes as you have experience with someone. Like Jamie said, trust is something that grows over time. It grows with experience. And honestly, one of the best illustrations I have for how trust should develop over time would be the use of a treasure box. So I do this with a lot of my girls when we talk about our own worth, and we fill the treasure box. It's hypothetical, but we fill the box with things that are important to us, things that we value about ourselves, maybe things about our person that we would want other people to treat with respect, that we would want them to treat carefully, right? So we fill this treasure box, and then comes the question, well, do you just trust anyone with these things that are very precious to you, very close to you, very fragile perhaps? And the answer is no, you don't just trust anyone. So if you don't just trust anyone, who do you trust? And the answer to that question would be those who have shown that they will treat your possessions with respect. Does that make sense? So when we're talking about building trust with someone, what we can do is offer tests, if you will. So you offer to trust them with something that might be a little bit not as vulnerable, not as close, like maybe something you have an opinion about. And so you share your opinion with this person, and you see how they treat it. Are they somebody who, doesn't allow you to have, hi Rihanna, Are you someone who, or is the person you're talking to someone who's like, you don't get to have an opinion, like, just shut up, you're not worth anything to me, or your opinion sucks, or whatever?
Yeah.
Or do they treat it with respect and they're like, hey, I get that your opinion might be different than mine, but you're more than happy to have your own opinion, you know? So let's say that they treat that with respect, and you're like, okay, well, let me test you with something a little bit closer to my heart. Let me test you with my feelings now, something that I care a lot about. And I share that with you, and you know, the person treats it with respect again. Then you can continue going down the line and sharing more and more things that are a little bit closer and closer to your heart, because they have shown they will respect you and respect the things that matter to you. So why might it be hard? We miss you too, Ree. Why might it be hard to trust people who are close to you? Because you may have had a lot of experiences in which people have not treated those precious things with respect. And part of our job is to protect those things until we find someone who does treat them with respect. And it may be that you've had a lot of past and trauma in your history in which the people who were supposed to be most protective of those things were not. And it is very difficult for someone who's had that experience to begin those trusting relationships. It's not impossible. I will tell you that. It is not impossible. What you can do is believe that there are people out there who will treat you with respect, like us, and get yourself around those people and begin to start practicing sharing these things and watching how they respect it. And in the same light, pulling those, well, I wouldn't say pulling those things away, but just placing boundaries in place for those who did not show respect to those areas of yourself that should be respected. Does that make sense? And that may mean as you get older and you have the ability to make choices to separate yourself from family who has been toxic, you do that.
I think vulnerability is fine too. You know, a lot of times it comes with the fear of rejection. A lot of the time it's because of past experiences. And it's scary because even though people can be close to you, they can still react wrongly. You know, people are human. And although they're very close to you and you love them and you trust them, there's still that fear that they could react not in the right sense to whatever you're telling them or whatever part of you that you're showing them. You know, we all have areas that we need to grow in and that we need to progress in. So even though they may be close to you, there's still that fear that they might not react well. You know, and if you have had lots of past experiences where that's happened, it makes it even harder for you to be patient to work through them, growing in their areas, you know, for them to be patient with you to start opening up, you know. And sometimes that takes a really long time. And sometimes it gets hard because you might get frustrated yourself, like, this is a big thing that happened in my life. This is something that I'm struggling with right now. I don't know what to do about this. And the people that are closest to me are the people that I'm supposed to rely on. You know, you might know that. And it might frustrate you that you can't just tell them. Or that you do have that concern that they might not accept you, that they might judge you, that they might not react the way that you want them to you sharing something that you've gone through, something that you are going through, or just a part of who you are. Just because someone's close to you doesn't mean that it's all easy to share something, you know? It takes time.
It takes work.
It takes a lot of time and a lot of work.
And a lot of forgiveness.
It does. And you have to be patient with them, and they have to be patient with you.
Right.
You know? Just because you open up doesn't mean it's all okay. And just because they're ready for you to open up doesn't mean it's all okay either. So try to be resilient and try to be patient.
I love that word. Good job, resilience.
It is a good word.
Resilience is meaning like when you are knocked down, you have the ability to get back up and move on. Bounce back. Yes, that's exactly what it means. Yeah, I agree with you. And for the person, again, who submitted this question, I know some of this stuff may sound really not helpful, and I get it. It's hard for us to be able to speak to this without knowing more about your situation. So I would just encourage you, again, reach out to us directly, and we would love to talk more about what you're facing, what the situation is, and see if we can help you a little bit more understand
You're
how
more
to
than
respond.
welcome to message us through Instagram, Facebook, give us a call, come and see us.
Yeah.
We would love to talk to you. Submit another question.
Yeah.
And that goes for everybody that may watch this. Submit more questions on this, on anything else.
Thanks, Reed. Yeah, so I mean, it could be about this question. If you have another question you want to dig deeper, go ahead. Let's talk more about this, and we just want to be able to help better. So I'm feeling for you where you're at in this place. It sounds like it's a really tough spot, and we're here for you.
Yeah, you'll be in our prayers too.
Yeah, you will. All right, we got to go get ready for our Friday group. So if you are planning to come today, Rihanna,
yeah, you should come.
you should come. Unfortunately, I have to leave a little early today because I have a fencing date. But I'll be here for the beginning of it, and I have a super fun game. With that, we will leave you guys here and see you on Instagram again, live next Friday, around 3:15-ish. Give or take. Who knows when we'll be on. Just watch for us. We love you guys. All right. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next.